Today we're here with Miss Yolanda Treece. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank
It's
you.
good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Just have a few questions for
Okay.
you today. So let's just start off. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, my name is Yolanda Treece. I was born in Johnson City, Washington County, but I've lived here all of my life. I graduated from East High School, and I did work in the front office as a student safety coordinator. I have a son, Trevin, who is a first lieutenant in the United States Army. He graduated from here as well in 2013. Morristown is my home. Worked in Morristown for as long as I can remember. And this is where I got my career in theater as well. It started here at East High School.
All right, sounds good. What fond memories do you have of East?
Working here or as a student here?
It could be either one.
Okay, as a student here, just the camaraderie and for me, choir. At that time, choir and theater were they were connected. Mr. Randy Adams was our choral director, but we did a lot of the drama in collaboration with the choir. So that's where I got my start, and that's what I remember. Also, I cheered. I cheered my sophomore and senior years here at East High, so I've always loved sports, not only the academics, but I was thoroughly involved in the extracurricular activities, which is vital. And of course, I love the arts. So music just runs in my blood and always has. As for working here, my fondest memories are the bonds that I have with students and some faculty and administration as well. I love getting to know the students. You're one of them. I call them my babies, even the ones who like to give me a hard time. They soon found out that I don't take a whole lot of stuff. I'll cut up with you, I'll watch out for you, but you will show respect. And I know respect is earned, but several students I had to help show them, if you go into the military, if you go into the workforce, you can't always state your opinion. You have to be respectful. And so that was something. There are a few that I couldn't touch, but maybe one day they'll get it. They'll understand that the world is bigger than who they are. And you've got to be able to get along with people. But I miss the relationships that I've formed with the students.
So you mentioned how you gained a passion for theater. So you went to pursue a career in theater, from what I've heard. So what kind of opportunities have you had, like roles and performances?
Whoa, that's a good question. I've been doing theater for a little bit over 30 years. So I've had a lot of experience. I've been able to choose the shows because every show is not for me, and that's with any artist. Every show may not be for you. It started here in 1982 with Showboat with Mr. Adams. We did that musical, and I was just in the ensemble, which sing or dance. But I was able to get a principal role. One of my friends who had the role, she really didn't want it. So I ended up with the role, and it was a lot of work. And I didn't really realize how much I loved it. But opening night, Mr. Adams pushed us. He pushed us, and we had a work ethic. You either wanted to be there or you didn't. So to taste what theater was like that night, I will never forget. And it wasn't because at curtain call, I got a standing ovation, but it helped me to realize when you work hard and you make your character believable, you can make the audience feel what you feel, see what you see through the character's eyes. That's when I knew. That's when I knew. And I've had some incredible roles. I was in Violet, I think in 2016 at Clarence Brown Theater. And those of you who may not know, Jelani Aladdin, he had a principal role of Flick. Jelani went on to be Kristoff in Frozen on Broadway. So a friend of mine was on Broadway, and then he was also Hercules for Disney, and he's expanding his horizons and doing some other things now. But the role I was Almeida, and then I was also helped lead the choir in that particular musical. That was momentous for me. Also, Motormouth Mabel, Hairspray, through Encore here at Walter State Community College. The songs and just the character, she was very strong, but the songs had depth. So every character that I've had the chance to portray they've had depth. And the songs not just ministered to the audience, but they ministered to me as well. And also the latest, In the Heights, I was Abuela Claudia, which Abuela is Spanish for grandmother. So In the Heights, Abuela is the cornerstone of the community in Washington Heights. She kind of watches out after everybody and makes sure that even with her closeness to God, that her spiritual flows to her friends and family. Even though she's not blood related to those characters, she kind of keeps them in check and keeps them in line and loves them. And that's kind of part of what I do, or what I try to do. So
it does really relate to me.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't expect that role, but God allowed me to have it. I'm so grateful.
All right. So I've been able to have the blessing of witnessing you sing on multiple occasions, churches, just here at plays in general. But my most memorable one would probably be when we were in D.C. and you sang at the Lincoln Memorial. So I was just wanting to ask, what gave you the motivation to sing and express your feelings?
I'll try not to cry, Jason. When we were there, and that trip was momentous for me as well. Just standing where Dr. King stood and looking out, and when we went in to the Lincoln Memorial, just looking at the statue and just how magnificent and how amazing it is, and just thinking, I don't know, just something swept over me. All of our ancestors praying for us. I'm sorry, I'll try not to cry. Praying for us, not knowing who they were praying for or how we would end up or where we would go in our lives. And just the pardon this word, the bigness of that moment, just standing there. And it was just like, I could feel their presence. We don't have everything right. We don't do everything right. But there's some good, even though the country is in an uproar right now. I don't know. It was just like that moment. It was like I could feel them. And I try to honor them. But at that moment, that song is what I wanted to give to them. Even though I didn't know at the time we were not supposed to sing in there, but the security guard allowed me to finish the song. And I'm thankful that she did. But just, looking up, even our presidents don't always get it right. And Mr. Lincoln did. I thank him for what he did. Several of the presidents back in that time, they had slaves as well. And I'm not, sorry, just knowing what our ancestors went through, and some of them didn't make it, and some of them died trying to make it, and the least I could do is give them that moment.
It's very powerful.
Thank you. I tried not to cry. I'm sorry.
It is just fine. It is just fine. All right, and last question here. Do you have any advice for any future theater or singing performers?
Yes, I do, and thank you for asking me that. To the future artist, I would tell you, don't stop dreaming, don't stop believing, and don't stop doing. There are going to be times, even with me, there are going to be times when you have to put your passion on the back burner, or you have to set it aside because life happens. Things happen that you don't expect. Things happen that you do expect, whether it's going to school or having a family, going to work full time. You're getting hit left and right with maybe death in the family or illnesses. You never know what you're going to get hit with. And you can't always pursue at that particular time what your passion is, but don't let it die. I can tell you from experience, when that happens, you will be miserable, and you probably won't be able to figure out in the beginning what is going on with you. I tried to squash it down. I would do theater on the side, still continue to sing, but I would do theater like kind of as a hobby. And then if I wasn't in a show, I would kind of stay away because it was too hard. It hurt because I wanted to do it all the time, but I couldn't figure out that was the problem. And it wasn't until later, talking to my son, he was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and we were just talking, and he helped me to realize what my passion. He was like, Mom, you've known all along what you wanted to do. And I didn't think I did, but I really did. God had poured into me, and I had to put it to the side because my son was the most important person in my life, and getting him to where he needed to be, that was my purpose. And he even apologized. I'm like, you don't ever have to apologize. Loving you and watching you grow and do, that was what was important to me. But now he was like, Mom, it's your time. Go do. And I'm just thankful enough that God has allowed me to still be here to be able to pursue. It's not easy, and it won't be easy, but don't measure your successes or failures by somebody else. What's for you is for you. And a lot of times I did that. And right now I'm having to wait on some things, but it just means they're not for me. Those things that I've auditioned for and I haven't heard anything, I'm kind of waiting. It just means it's not my time just yet. But that doesn't mean stop. So never stop, never let it die, because if it does, it's going to be taxing on you, and that's hard. So never stop dreaming, never stop believing, and never stop doing. I do have one last thing to give to you, your fellow classmates, as well as the students all over this county, nation. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. That is something that I have struggled with for years. And I know it's just a trick of the enemy. God pours into us talents and abilities. It might take a while to figure out what it is that you love to do or what he's put in your heart to do, but you'll get there. But you have to believe in yourself and surround yourself with people that are going to be positive, because everybody doesn't understand your passion. Everybody may not understand your dream, but don't let that stop you. I'm saying all this because I don't want any of you all to end up where I was for a long time, doubting myself, not really sure that these things were possible. I don't want you to waste time not believing in yourself. Anything is possible, but you have to be true to yourself and to your passion. If not, like I said earlier, you will be unhappy. Fight for it. Not literally fight, but do the work. Put the work in. You've got to work. It's not just going to fall in your lap. Take classes. Have a mentor. Do the research, do the homework, whatever the field is that you want to dive into, do the work, because nothing is going to be easy. There are a lot of millions of talented people out there, but you do what God has given you to do. I can't sing like Miss Patti LaBelle or Miss Aretha Franklin, but I can only do what I can do. I can't act like Audra McDonald or anyone else that's been on Broadway. I can only do what I can do. So don't waste time doubting, because there are going to be enough people out there doubting you as it is. Just prove them wrong. Actually, when you have those doubts, prove yourself wrong. Up your game. I dare you.